Stand by. As this episode of Simple Blasphemy is loading, it is brought to you by our Patreons. Keep us commercial free and join our Patreon today. Patreon.com/simpleblasphemy. Check out our website, simpleblasphemy.com.
Yes. Remember, people, drive safely and have loads of hot, nasty stuff.
It's too late now. This is Simple Blasphemy.
Alrighty then. Hey, welcome to Simple Blasphemy Podcast, all you blasphemers out there. My name is Zach Ward, and I have here with me always Andy's.
Hi, I'm Andy, and this is Jones.
Motormouth Jones.
Motormouth Jones.
And Mr. Green.
What am I fucking supposed to say, man? It's all been said before.
All right, fair enough. And before we introduce our special guests, all the info on this show, including episodes and guests, can be found at our website, simpleblasphemy.com. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Anyway, our special guest today is none other than wrestler Rod Lee. How are you doing today, Rod?
I'm doing great, guys. How you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Thanks for coming out.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
No problem. Thanks for having me.
We've had the pleasure of having you on the schedule for a while and did a deep dive into as much professional wrestling in the Toledo area or the local level areas. And I can't wait to get into some questions. It's more than fascinating. But to get to know you better, we are going to spit you 4 questions quick and easy.
Here we go. Here we go.
Fast 4. Ready?
Good luck.
All right, let's go. I'm ready.
Question 1, Rod Lee. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Teleportation.
Okay.
Kind of like Nightcrawler from X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All
Now,
right.
would you subscribe to the whole one place at one time and then teleport to another place, or would you go with the whole decomposition of all of your matter and then appearing somewhere else? Would you be just like a giant blood cloud going from one place to another?
I would go with the X-Men Evolution explanation, actually,
Okay.
which is where he would teleport through this like demon world. It sounds extremely edgy, I know, but he teleports through a demon world from one place to another. And then there was an episode where where this guy who was trapped from the 70s in an alternate reality ended up making him a suit to extend the time he would be in the other world, which was like, hell. But it would also extend his range of teleporting.
Okay.
Like I was recently watching X-Men Evolution on Disney Plus. I love that show. It's kind of what got me into X-Men.
I'm really into the DuckTales remake that they have on there.
I haven't checked it out yet.
It's awesome. The kids
All
are
right.
into it.
So question number 2, what age do you consider old?
It really depends on what we're talking about, because I consider myself to be old because I'm like 26 going on 27. But that's because but the reason for that is because I'm the oldest of 9. And I go over my dad's house and I see my like 5-6 year old siblings, and I'm like, oh, I'm in charge of them. But like
No,
in the
that-
terms of
Hell
like
yeah.
wrestling, I know I'm like a young kid, so it really depends on what we're talking about.
Perspective.
All right. And question number 3: who is your celebrity hall pass?
My celebrity hall pass.
Hmm.
That's probably Scarlett Johansson. Yeah,
All right. All right.
I really like Marvel movies.
And the
Four and a
last-
half Rosario Dawson's.
And
That's
the
another very good one. Yes.
last question, number 4: worst job you've ever had?
Worst job I've ever had was probably package handling, working for like
Oh.
UPS and stuff.
Mhm.
All right.
You're a chucker.
No, I would like packing the trucks and stuff.
Yeah, you.
Oh,
God.
wait.
No, he cared. He cared. I can tell. He cared.
More
I
than
cared, but it was also a lot, and especially since I worked around Christmas time. Christmas time was like the worst.
Ooh, seasonal.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's just dive into the world of wrestling. What I find awesome and amazing that the wrestling, the local, especially local wrestling, really falls into the same, umbrella as bands, music, art, comedians. We've had one comedian on so far, and I believe next week we have a comedian on. It's mastering an art and performing entertainment as a nutshell, right? So, how did you get into this, and where did your journey start?
Well, my journey starts when I was a kid, when I was like 10, 11 years old, watching wrestling when I was growing up, seeing like John Cena and Batista, Rob Van Dam, guys like that, going out there doing their thing. And it really made me want to, do that. I mean, what neighborhood kid didn't, have fake matches in their basement or what have you?
Right.
But so fast forward to when I was growing up, and this promotion, Northwest Ohio Wrestling, got started up, and that was kind of where I got my first, introduction to it. But I really wasn't committed to the idea yet. And then some other things happened to me, and then about 2019, I decided to go down to Columbus. I would drive from Toledo to Columbus every Sunday.
Wow.
And I would get trained down at Ohio Pro Wrestling Academy. And I did that until I was cleared to cleared to have matches. And then by that time, another school in the area got opened up. It's called Skull and Bones Professional Wrestling and Fitness. So that's where I go now. It's over on Lasky. It's a lot closer. I was just up there actually a couple hours ago before I came home and got ready for this.
What does it take to get cleared
Yeah.
to actually have matches?
Thank you, Ward. I was just going to ask that.
Well, it honestly depends on your trainer. It's the biggest thing with me or with wrestlers in general is how safe are you? How can you do certain things? Can you get through a match comfortably without hurting yourself or hurting anyone else, and just feel like the whole thing went well? I mean, obviously it's not going to be perfect. There's certain things you're going to have to learn as time goes on, but it really just kind of comes down to your trainer's discretion. It's a short answer to that.
And how much training do you put in a week? And what is it that could you explain a little bit of your routine?
It's up to different people. Personally, I try to go up to the school about 3 times a week. And we have, a certain drills, like called blow up drills, stuff to get us really tired, like breathing heavy. That's kind of what we start with. And then we go over chain wrestling, lock up certain techniques that you need to know for every match. And then, you can practice your individualized move set. Sometimes we have practice matches, just things to get ourselves better for when shows come around, like practicing, holds, practicing slams, things like that.
Speaking of that, can you give us a little background on this picture?
Yeah,
It smelled bad.
I won that match actually, which is the funny
Awesome.
part. I was rolled up and I kicked out, and I'm pretty sure I hit that dude in the face. So, trust me,
All right.
that's not the worst or the biggest dude that's ever sat on my face. It's gotten bad.
Usually, I only hear that coming from a woman, but
Mel, is there like a routine that you do to make sure that you are so fresh for when a fight happens?
You mean like just like how I work out, or?
Well, no, like, does everybody have like a Gold Bond medicated powder that they put on before they get into the ring?
Oh, yeah, some people do. Not everybody. I mean, everybody has their own rituals and stuff. Like it's kind of getting ready for matches. Personally, I just like listen to music.
all right, hold
I
on one
dance a
second.
lot.
'Cause- hold one second.
So-
'Cause I actually have a question prepared for this portion. Sorry.
Okay.
John Cena knocks on wood. Goldberg hitting his head before the doors open, coming into the ring. What is your pre-match, if any, rituals?
Okay. Yeah, right now it would be like just kind of listening to music.
Any specific thing at all, or
I listen to my theme song at least once. It really just depends on what I'm feeling in that in that week or month. Like I have a very eclectic music taste. Like sometimes I'm really into hip hop. Sometimes I'm really into like emo music, like Fall Out Boy, Paramore. Sometimes I'm into heavier stuff. Sometimes I'm into it just really depends on what I'm feeling in that day. But it's always going to be something with like a higher beat per minute, something more upbeat.
like I remember in cross country, I had one friend of mine, I think it was my buddy Clint. He had to listen to Eye of the Tiger before every single race we did. You know, there's people that just have, you know, things which personally, Eye of the Tiger is pretty much one of my, yeah.
Well, I didn't know you were that old, man. Wow.
I listen to Eye
I'm
of the
not
Tiger
that old.
before I go to the fruit market.
Greg says,
I
what's
love-
your theme song?
Flashlight by the Parliament.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I do have a post-match ritual actually.
Oh.
Yeah, after every single match I have, unless he's in the building, I call my best friend and I talk to him about it.
Oh, really?
That's cool.
Yes.
That's awesome. Green, what you got? Anything?
Yeah. You mentioned something about a breathing heavy exercise. What does that entail? Because I know that later in life, I'm so old that, I'm just fucking walking down the hallway and I'm breathing heavy. Like, what does that entail?
Honestly, it's just a lot of like high intensity movements. Running. We do rope runs, like kind of running back and forth from rope to rope.
So you're actually
rope to rope.
So you're actually doing the actual physical activity along with breathing heavy. You're not just breathing heavy, right?
Oh yes, you were working out to get.
Oh, so
breathing heavy.
you're doing the activity. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, like the point of the drill is to make you tired. Like,
okay, I got you. Okay,
like because you're going to have a match, you're going to go like a good wrestling match can go 20, 25 minutes.
Right.
That's becoming more and more of a standard. So you have to be able to go and be able to perform at these high levels, doing these intensive moves while extremely tired.
That makes sense because I mean, right when you first said that, I had a vision of you just walking around going, and I feel that way when I walk down the hallway, and I'm like, that can't be a wrestling
felt that
move.
way a few times after this quarantine and not being able to go to the gym for 2 months.
So we all play in bands and stuff like that, right? So we get gigs. How do you start getting the shows? How does that happen?
Well, there's a couple ways. When you finally get done training, you can get your trainer can kind of put in a good word with some of the promoters that they know, because independent wrestling is not like one person booking or like setting up all these matches. It's a bunch of different people running their own shows. So you need to kind of know who's running the show, who's paying for it, who's bringing in the talent.
Right.
And either your trainer can kind of put in a good word for you and kind of help you, or the old school way, which is what I kind of recommend and what I do, is I just go to different shows, even if I'm not like going to wrestle on the show, help
Mhm.
out, kind of, shake hands with the promoter, introduce myself, tell them where I got trained, who I know, how I can like let them know, hey, in the future, if you need anybody, let me know. I can come down, and they'll like kind of tell you from there, hey, we need somebody, or like we'll let you know, or something like that. You kind of have it's kind of a getting to know people process
It
Right.
sounds like
in the short
local
term.
band. It sounds just like local band stuff. Some people know other bands that'll give you an opening slot. Some people go down to Frankie's or wherever they have at the time and just get their face out there.
So, what are some? I know we talked about it earlier today, but what are some of the companies that put on shows here locally?
Locally, we have Powerbomb Wrestling, which is in Toledo. Then we also have World Big Time Wrestling. We have Ruthless Pro Wrestling, which is just starting up. Their first show was actually supposed to have been a couple weekends ago, but
Okay.
unfortunately, that got canceled. Um, and we also have Chaos Wrestling around here. And down in Fremont, there is Live Pro Wrestling, LPW, that runs as well. Again, I can't give you any show dates because everything kind
Of
of
course,
got
yeah.
messed up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I've got a question for you. Do you ever get mixed up with other wrestlers?
Sometimes, not as bad as some other people I know. I've kind of jokingly called that more than anything, never really seriously. One of my trainers has been mistaken for Ricochet on a number of occasions.
Yeah.
Yeah, even to the point where they did a whole interview when they thought it was Ricochet when it wasn't.
Do you have any super fans or people that come out? Or I'm assuming you hopefully you have T-shirts and stuff like that that people can support you.
I have a few fans, like I have a few people that recognize me and want to buy my stuff. Nothing really super, like not a big amount. Like I only have like 500 followers on Instagram right
Yeah.
now, so I'm nothing. I'm definitely small time right now. I'm definitely going to change that, but I've only been wrestling for a year, a
Right.
little bit under a year, give or take some change.
Yeah, no, I mean everything takes time to network, and I mean I think a lot of people don't understand on so many different fronts that the entertainment that you're kind of providing, there's a lot of work that goes behind it, and like you're saying, having a good trainer and character development, I'm assuming, and you know I can see where the place that you train at really is a monster benefit for your career. And I'm sure there's places that are cheap, and maybe it's at a YMCA with Bruce, who liked wrestling, but he's kind of, just the wrestling coach at a junior high. And then there's people that actually dabble in creating in the environment for what we know as pro wrestling.
Yeah, and that's you're exactly right. You hit the nail on the head there, and that's what I love about the place I train now, Skull and Bones. Both of my trainers, CK3 and Trey Miguel, they both have a very high pedigree when it comes to wrestling. So it's not just some guy who watched a bunch of Attitude Era tapes and decided I can do that too. These are guys that have eat, sleep, and breathe wrestling. They know what they're talking about, and they've
Right.
definitely helped me out a lot in the short time that I've been going there.
So you obviously can't plan for every match. What is one thing that's happened that actually went badly? Have you ever had something that just went not the way that you were at least hoping for?
Yeah, well, I mean, not so much that I didn't. Well, yeah, there's this one time things didn't go the way I hoped for. It's actually my first match, so let's go with this story.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, my best friend Marcus Everett. Actually, he's also a wrestler. And if he's not on the show, I call him after every show. But I came to this one show in Toledo, and he had talked to the promoter, and he got me in a triple threat with him and another guy.
Okay.
And we go through the match, we set it up, and we're trying to have the match happen. And for the most part, the match went really well. Except for towards the very end, when the other dude in the match kicked Marcus right in the head
Oh.
and gave him a concussion.
Oh,
Oh.
Jesus.
And so I've been friends with Marcus for years, like since 2011. I think that's when we met. His mom calls me after the match
Oh shit! This is
And
when it
says-
gets real.
and says, "Hey, go and take Marcus to the hospital because I think he has a concussion." So I was
It's
like,
got me
well,
sleepy.
I went from riding the high of having my first match to sitting in a hospital room in like 30 minutes.
Oh, that's
He was fine. I mean, he had a minor concussion, but he's fine now. Still a pain in the ass, but he's fine.
Deal.
if
Just minor brain damage, no big deal. He'll be fine.
yeah. If you had an unlimited budget, what outfit or intro, special effect, yada yada yada, what would you put together in your head as like your best version of yourself? Is that a good way of saying it, Andy? How am I saying this?
I'm thinking that, like, if you're looking at having TVs fall behind you, like 3 dozen TVs fall behind you, or having fireworks going off, or vodka
CRTs
shooting
or
out of your
flat
nostrils
screens
and shit like that.
I think I know
Yeah.
what you're trying to ask me.
CRTs are flat.
Let me try to word it this way. What's my WrestleMania entrance?
There you go.
Where I have like
I'm sorry.
tons of money
Nope.
and just do whatever.
You just made the
Um,
question so much easier. What's your WrestleMania entrance look like?
I mean, granted, I can make the question easier. I can't answer it very easily. That's a lot. I mean,
It's a 450-foot turkey with a jet engine strapped to the back of it.
That's
Gobbles.
a very good question. Like, as somebody who's been watching this since they were like a literal like prepubescent child, I've had so many different fantasies that it's just kind of like explosions. I'm wearing gold and white because I think those two colors mean WrestleMania.
Fuck yeah, they do.
Pomp and circumstance coming down in a feathered chariot.
Yeah, like coming down on like a feathered chariot,
Wasn't
or
that
like
Macho
a
Man?
motorcycle, or something just completely over the top. Like,
What
it has
did-
to be insane.
Sky's the
What
limit.
did Macho Man come down when he like married Elizabeth or whatever it was? Wasn't that pomp and circumstance?
Yeah, that was his interest music the entire time. He came up to Pop and Circumstance.
with
Yeah.
Slim Jims in each hand.
Wasn't the one
Stroking.
the one that Zach Ward sings is the Olympic? That's 18 Days of Glory.
Yeah, there's something totally different.
Oh, I don't know.
But it comes out to the song you hear at graduation. I know that much.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Oh man, I don't know.
I love
I don't
Macho
know.
Man.
No, I
And-
mean, I know, I understand. It's like it's moments of greatness, and we don't think in terms of that.
Oh no, you're fine. No, you guys are great. I mean, trust me. Some of the brilliance of Macho Man is like crazy. Like, yes, that was
yeah!
Ooh, yeah. I love, dude. Everyone could do a good Macho Man. I love
God
it.
damn it! I
So-
want to say "ooh yeah" on a daily basis, but I don't feel it on a daily basis.
I think that the hardest I've laughed on the internet in the past like 10 years was the person that took Macho Man and edited him as the dragon in Skyrim. And every time he would breathe fire, he'd go, yeah!
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of good.
The
Stuff like
funniest wrestling related
Memes.
meme that I've seen on the internet was the unexpected Cena meme from a few years ago, where you'd be like watching a video or something and it'd just be like, John Cena, and then like John Cena's music would start playing.
Okay, yep, okay.
My ex-girlfriend hated those, and I loved them. And it was even better because I would show her videos, and she would fall for it every time, thinking it was just some normal video.
So it's like a
Until
Rick
it
roll.
finally got to the John Cena part,
It's a Wrestle
and
Rick roll.
literally, it was literally that.
Awesome.
And I got way too much enjoyment out of it.
Oh man. Well, as it relates to wrestling, I guess really the only question I have is, especially in this area, what's up with like co-ed stuff? Are there women as well? Is there a lot of them that
Yes, there's
wrestle?
there's women's wrestling, of course. I've some of them.
Seriously?
I've trained with women. The entire time I've been in wrestling, I've known women's wrestlers. They kick just as much ass as men. I mean, I know some of them that will kick my ass, and I'm not afraid to say that.
Right.
So
I
yes,
have a
there's
personal
definitely
savings
women.
fund.
So yeah, so even in term, I guess even during this like COVID time, everybody has to stay home or whatnot. What kind of training or how do you keep up with, what you are doing in terms of wrestling when you're stuck at home, man? Do you have like a little workout area that?
Do you powerbomb
Yeah.
the neighbor?
I powerbomb my nephew.
Okay, good. Fantastic.
Okay.
But he loves it. Like he's
15
4 years
power bombs
old.
a
He
day.
loves it. But I do have like an area like outside. Actually, I go outside, like right outside the house, and do some squats. Do some I have these resistance bands that I use to do curls and stuff. But unfortunately, Skull and Bones just opened back up, so I'm able to go there again. They opened up like last week, and I've been able to go there and try to get back into it because as much as home workouts work, there's nowhere near the same as actually being in a ring, getting that cardio in.
Yep.
Right.
I also like watching matches, studying tape online, like while I'm stuck in the house, since just kind of doing the best I can to learn any way I can.
Now, do you look at old like WWF, like the Iron Sheik with Junkyard Dog and Coco Beware and Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant? Do you go back and look at that stuff the same way as musicians?
Back
go
in my
and look-
day.
Well, yeah, but like, do you look at it the same way as musicians look at like the Beatles or Prokofiev or just name your
Voltaire.
artist? Yeah, well, there you go.
Mozart.
Looking at them is like it's one of those things where it's like you look at them and you try to learn from these. Things have definitely changed since the 80s of Hulkamania, but obviously you also want to learn and honor the past, and obviously there's like that old school stuff is basic, so you want to learn the basics of the kind of a walk before you run type deal.
Okay, and how do you juxtapose that? How do you cross that over with like the Mexican wrestling, like luchadors and stuff like that are doing these insane triple mega flips off of stuff?
That's just different styles. Like Japan has its own style, Europe has its own style, America has its own style. America, the only time I would say America is a true melting pot is when it comes to wrestling, because I would say that we have the most eclectic I love using that word. The most eclectic mix of like Japanese strong style and Mexican, lucha libre, and then you have just different like all these different styles and influences. Like wrestlers going out and traveling the world. Like some of the biggest like badges of honor you can get are wrestling in like Mexico or wrestling in Europe, like London or Japan. Then bringing that stuff back to America, and
so it's once again similar to music, to where if we want to put like a Spanish guitar style in something that we're doing, we can incorporate that, or we can use a Japanese scale in something that we're doing. It kind of borrows.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
There's definitely Japanese style matches. There are Mexican style matches. There are American style matches, and not just in like the weapons variety, but in just kind of like how the match flows or things that happen. Like Japanese matches are typically longer. Like I remember a few years ago, some of the biggest and best matches that ever happened in New Japan were all over 45 minutes long.
Good lord.
So let's do something fun here.
I like fun.
Look at Zach Green. He's the guy in the orange shirt and the pigtails. He looks like
a stogie.
he looks like a villain. Now, if you guys were about to have a match next week,
Oh, I wouldn't be able to handle wrestling.
I know that, especially smoking. But
Mm-hmm.
if you were going to have a match next week, how would you, Hulk Hogan, brother, him? How would
Are
you?
Because I'm kind of
you're actually
crazy.
gonna promo on him?
I'm kind of fucking crazy.
Yeah, how would you just like look at him
Yeah,
like?
We're just putting me on the spot today. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let me look at you real quick.
Look at this. He don't care. Give it to him.
I mean,
What?
pretty old.
Now, see, Green's got it.
I mean, he's just screaming at me at this
What
point,
style
like
is
crazy old
that?
man that he is, and I'm going to yank him around by his pigtail.
You're right. I'm the oldest here.
Yeah.
So wait, you're gonna go pigtail?
Now,
And
this
you're
is
I'm
what I'm trying to say. Pretend that Andy is Mean Gene Okerlund.
Oh,
And
no, we're gonna change it
Don't
to Andy.
pretend.
I'm just saying. And then
The
you got
youngest
you got a guy across from you. How do you
with the
how do you-
beautiful hair.
How do you give it to him? Like,
Okay, you just want me to cut a promo on him. You want me to just tell
cut
you?
a yeah.
Just pull his hair out.
Okay. So, Andy, since I'm talking to you.
Mean Gene.
So next week I have to go up against my opponent, Zach Green. I don't understand why they put me up against the oldest wrestler in recorded history with the ugliest hairstyle in recorded history. But that being said, I'm going to yank him up by those ugly ass
Hell
pigtails
yeah.
of his and swing him around the ring like
That's right.
we're playing roly poly oly.
But
All
what
the
makes
way
you
around.
think? What makes you think I would wear this to the ring?
Yeah, they come
Um,
off. They come off,
Bitches do what bitches look like. I don't know.
Oh my God! How are you
Now,
gonna
Zach-
respond to that, Green?
Now, Zach, yeah. Now, Green, you gotta tap into your inner wrestler, your
can just tap
little
out.
guy, little tuggy, right?
Ooh.
Now, can you tap if you had a character now, how would you just respond to Rod? And you could start off like saying, like, let me tell you something. Or
No, I don't want to. I want to get rid of the hate version of my life and the negativity.
shit.
So I'm just gonna fucking
like a
bow out
dumbass.
right now.
Can you stare really, really
I'm
hard?
not even gonna go there because it's anti-productive to myself.
But can you stare
Dude,
really
you know what
hard
he
and make
sounds
your
like?
face turn red?
What?
Can you make your face turn red and act like you've had too much cocaine for a moment?
yeah. Let's
You
see
know
it.
what he sounds
No,
like?
no,
You know
I-
what he sounds like?
No, I could literally like hold my breath till I'm about to die. My face still stays white,
See,
like I'm a fucking pasty face white boy.
Yeah, but the
That
one
I
thing
am. I can't do it, man. I don't have the theatrics.
the one thing about wrestling is
If
when
I had the theatrics, dude, I'd be
Like-
so much further ahead in my life.
they flex it, they make it. It's like constantly
I-
being,
Dude, no. Here, let me just say, I have no game. So dude, I'm the wrong person to field on this question.
You're right. I am so glad I
you are,
joined.
in fact, a jive ass.
Yeah. All right. So
Amen.
Full aggrievement, my friend.
Andy, Andy, if you were, the ultimate warrior in this case, not to
If I
date us,
were.
but how would your response be to this, like this battle that was about to happen? Do you have
You see, I'd get in the ring.
Oh,
I'd stare him down, and I'd give him the evil eye.
You gotta drop the puppy from your lap if you want to.
no
No, I'm not dropping the puppy.
crack the
You think
puppy
Macho
on your
Man
back?
tastes like puppy?
You want to taste puppy? I've got puppy. No, I'd point at you. My chest would get tight,
Maybe
and then I
junkyard
would call
dog.
the ambulance.
Still not
I-
good. Still not
No, I
good.
probably-
We're gonna
I
have
would
to
probably
leave it.
have a
We're
heart
gonna have
attack.
to leave it up to Zach Ward to bring it.
Yep, bring it around town.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Here we
don't
go.
shoot the
Ladies
ammunition
and
unless you
gentlemen.
build the gun.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the ancient bar, please give it up for Zach Ward!
Why is he playing that
Motherfucker!
He's gonna
Dude,
go
that-
John
that's-
Denver style.
Oh
on you.
my!
This is very
That's all.
talented.
Wait, that's all you had? Sad.
Whoa,
That-
I wasn't even done yet.
you
I'm
kind of
sorry.
stopped. You just
Dude. You could you. I'm sorry. You could level all three of us. I'm
I
sorry.
smoke
We had no
dabs with
game
this.
today.
Yeah. I don't know. It brings, like I was saying earlier, it kind of brings us elders into like just the joy and the love and the romance with
No, and on top of that, the true like whatever it takes to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
Not anybody can fucking do this, man.
no, and the Super Slam or Summer Slams and just everything was so much fun.
You
No,
were
and
gonna
I
talk
grew up
about the
watching this, and
SummerSlam.
I still can't come up with a character.
Oh,
You're right. Wrestling is definitely something that's a lot more difficult when you put it in practice. Like it's easy to say, "Oh, I want to be a wrestler," but
Sure.
Right.
going through the actual process of it is not for everybody. It's not easy, and I'm thankful that I have people in my corner that help me out. Yeah, like one of my friends designs
Totally.
all of my merchandise, and I appreciate her to the end of the year. I have like other friends that just kind of motivate me, keep me, saying, "Hey, you can do the thing. Just go out and when I'm tired and I don't feel like getting up and going to training, I just gotta remember this is what I want to do. So I gotta get up
it's
and
tough. So,
motivate myself to. It's like you said, it's not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. It's a very big commitment. And the first time I was kind of getting into this, I wasn't committed, and I could see that in my results. And now I'm a lot more committed into everything I do. Like I'm always thinking about wrestling. I'm always thinking about ways to better myself. Just kind of doing ways to train even when I'm not in the ring. Just like studying film, doing things I can to better myself.
all right. So we've pretty much reached pretty close to the end of our show. So let's talk about how people can find you now on the screen. And for those that are listening, Instagram.com. And what do we have here? OTAKU Wrestling Dude. All right.
It's Otaku Wrestling Dude.
All right. OTAKUWRESTLINGDUDE. Where does that name, come from? What's
Well,
that?
it's just kind of who I am as a person. Like, if there's two things that I love more than anything, it's like wrestling and anime. So,
Okay.
I watch a lot of anime.
Andy, you have to unmute your microphone when you do it.
I'm trying to be a lot better with stuff like that. For the people that are actually listening, they don't know the difference. So if you had to pick a desert island anime, what would it be?
Desert Island anime,
Oh.
like I just have to watch this
One series. That's it.
One Piece.
Okay.
So if you're not, I'm sure you've watched all of our episodes of Simple Blasphemy, but we do have an episode with Eric Stewart,
Yes.
we had a nice long conversation with him, who's the voice of Brock on Pokemon or
Yeah. Oh no.
and
He did Brock. He did
Drake?
Bulbasaur or Squirtle.
something.
He does a lot of voice acting. Go check his IMDb page out. I guarantee
Yeah.
he's been in a few things that he's done.
Eric Stewart, yeah, he's a buddy, and
Cool dude.
I tell you what, he's a cool dude.
He's got a good musical head on his shoulders too.
Yes, he does. So, having said that, we've reached the end of our broadcast. We are going to go hang out in after hours at our Patreon. So, if you're a Patreon, fly over and we will be up with Rodney. If you have any questions in the Patreon, you're more than welcome to. That's how you can find it visually. And
audibly, it's patreon.com/simple blasphemy, says Andy.
says Andy's.
Andy.
Rod, thank you so much for giving us the
Yes.
insight of this. It was awesome, and hope that I never get into that situation.
Right?
Because
I mean,
if I do, I'm dead. I'm
Yeah.
dead. If I do,
I
I'm
think
dead.
you can figure it out. You'll figure out how to survive.
Can you bite? Can I bite at that point? Could I be like, meaty
I mean,
thigh?
you can. You're gonna get disqualified, but you can. Like,
So yeah, in different circles, a nip means two different things when it's
Yeah,
you know
definitely.
Drinky or liquidy?
wrestling or
That might mean more, please, more.
Those
All
are
right,
two
folks.
very different things, guys.
Choke me, Daddy.
We'll see you in the after hour show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Puppy.